Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be reviewing the 2024 Mazda CX-50. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Orem Mazda here in Utah for giving me some time with this CX-50. This particular CX-50 is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out this CX-50 and the rest of the cars that they have. On a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 23 around town and then 29 on the highway, with power outputs being 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see that it's kind of like normal Mazda design until you get to the center portion's raised, and I think that looks pretty cool. And then popping down below, you guys can see here with the lights really sharp in normal Mazda fashion. The grille's mostly blacked out. Obviously you got the Mazda logo in silver there. And then I like the little smiley face trim. And then you guys can see here with the amber light down below. And then obviously love the venting as well. That's pretty cool. Putting it all together definitely has a more aggressive look compared to the CX-5 with the wider appearance. Coming on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 245, 45, 20 in the front and over in the rear. And then you guys can see here with the wheel design, you got the silver on the top, and then notice how it's black there in the center portion. Big chunky fender flares. You guys can see the fenders themselves are also wider, but notice that bodywork continues along the side. Notice the mirror caps are blacked out, and then some of the window trim, but then we also have some silver trim throughout. And then here's your full side profile with the CX-50. Again, with that kind of wider appearance, it looks pretty cool. So here's a quick look at our key fob. We have the Mazda logo here, lock and unlock the opening here for the hatch as well. Now, popping into the cargo area here with the CX-50, it is absolutely massive. That's one of the big benefits of this vehicle. And you guys can see you've got these little latches here to throw down the seats. But, I mean, yeah, you could do plenty of stuff with this, including going on camping trips. And then taking a look at top, you guys can see you've got that button that will lower down the hatch. You can also lock it as well. And this leads us into the taillights, which again, in normal Mazda fashion, look really cool. Of course, you got a turbo badge to flex and everyone that you got the turbocharged engine. And then even though it's fake venting, still looks cool. And then you got the dual exhaust at the bottom. Putting it all together, let me know what you guys think about the styling on this. And do you prefer this or the CX-5 when it comes to styling? Now, taking a look at the door panel here, you guys can see soft touch down below. Love the look of the window control, and then the handle, kind of interesting. And then taking a look at the seats here, you guys can see with the cross stitch design, looks really cool. Now, legroom here in the back's pretty good. We also have a little storage pocket there, and you guys can see some vents, USB action. Of course, we have a cup holder armrest, and by the way, the seats are actually really comfortable. And then last but not least, headroom's good. Also, I kind of looked at this door handle for a little bit longer. This has to be straight out of a Toyota. It looks like a Toyota door handle. Now, taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again with the cross-stitch design and then all of the padding down below. All of our window controls right here. Mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in. And then you can see we've got blind spot wiring with them as well. Now, taking a look at the front seat, you guys can see again perforated with the cross-stitch design. Got the piping as well. All of our power adjustments here on the side. And then you've got this for the safety tech. And then you can see it for the traction control as well. And then again, look at the stitching. So we've got Mazda's normal cool steering wheel, so it's kind of like thinner with the spoke design. I think that looks great. And then you guys can see you've got stuff like your cruise control, phone controls, voice command controls, all of that. Regular stocks there on the back, and we do have paddle shifters here too. Now here's the gauge cluster. You got the 3-gauge layout, and with that center gauge we can kind of change what it shows and what it looks like, which I think is pretty sharp. And then we do have our drive mode selects. We have a sport, normal, and then an off-road mode that we can switch into. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera there with trajectory lines, and resolution's pretty good. Now, sorry about the glare with this shot, but here's the infotainment system. So this is Mazda's unit they have in pretty much all of their modern cars. It's not a touchscreen, it's all controlled via a dial, but the dial's very responsive and it's pretty easy to use. Soft touch all over the dash here with the CX-50, and then you guys can see the cross-stitch design down below, which looks really cool. And then I like the vents here for the driver. They got this cool swivel function. Now, you do have dual zone climate as well as heated and ventilated seats and a heated steering wheel. I do have one complaint. You guys can see the light there for the steering wheel and for the AC. It's out of, like, this is your viewpoint for the driver, so you can't tell if those functions are on. You kind of have to, like, dip your head down, so a little bit obnoxious. And then you got some more storage down below, a little charging port action, and some cup holders. Shifter for the 6-speed automatic. We do have our drive mode select, and then you guys can see parking brake auto hold, and then this is the control for the infotainment system with the shortcut buttons. And then we got the center console that opens up on either side. Pretty interesting. USB action inside. Wireless phone charging pad right there, by the way. It's nice padding on the top too. And then, yeah, pretty big glove box. And then up top we do have a little sunglass holder, and then we have a panoramic sunroof here on the CX-50. So here's our window sticker for the CX-50. You guys can see 2024 CX-50. We've got all the standard equipment. Base MSRP $41,300. Optional equipment after all options $43,655. And finished in Soul Red. This thing looks extra sharp. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and hopefully you can see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, just do a blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And CX-50 away. So always fun to review this, and my opinion on this has honestly changed since it was initially released. When this was initially released, I was like, you know what, I'm all in on Team CX-50. Sorry, I gotta adjust the GoPro a little bit. But yeah, I'm like, I'm all in on Team CX-50. And now I'm kind of more on Team CX-5, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later in this video. But first off, turbocharged engine, man, feels, I mean, the torque is just great. Feels so punchy right off the bat. And this road's getting redone, and the suspension is handling it quite well. So it's a big difference with the CX-50 versus the CX-5. You can see a little bit of handling characteristics with this compared to the CX-5. But you get a little bit more compression and all of that, so it's basically better for bumps, if that makes sense. Yeah, going over, like, I mean, it's not, again, it's just a road that is missing the top layer, but still, like, here's a bump. Yeah, the compression is just a lot better than the CX-5. And again, this doesn't even have the off-road tires. Off-road tires, obviously with more sidewall, kind of act as like a secondary shock absorber. But yeah, it drives really well. The seats are pretty dang comfortable as well. Actually, let's turn on the air conditioned seat function. That's definitely going to come in clutch with how toasty it is today. And, well, looks like we've got clear space to get an acceleration. Woo! Now this engine's all about torque, so it does shift way before redline when you have an automatic mode. And that's because it's just trying to ride the torque band. So it's kind of an interesting powertrain, but it's cool. It's great for off-roading, right? Off-roading is all about torque. So to cap things off, I think the CX-50 looks great, great features, rides really well, drives well, like everything's good. The reason why I kind of like the CX-5 more is the handling characteristics on that are a little bit sharper, and the interior on this, Mazda's purposefully made the interior on this a little bit less premium compared to the CX-5. Like, you can really tell with some of the touch points, and that is because it's supposed to be more of like a rugged off-road type vehicle, right? Which is fine, but I kind of prefer the more luxury interior of the CX-5. Let me know which interior you like more. I like the look of this, it's cool, but the CX-5 definitely feels a little bit more premium inside. But regardless, let me know what you guys think about the CX-50, and let me know if there's anything you'd change. Me personally, I think that it'd be cool if Mazda offered this interior package with the Meridian, because the Meridian is basically like a more baseline CX-50, but then with the off-road stuff, it'd be cool if you could get this luxury stuff with the off-road stuff that you have with the Meridian. But let me know your thoughts.